Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Pestridge. Welcome to another P3D version 6 talk. First off, a disclaimer in this video. Lockheed Martin have never stated that version 6 even exists. So most everything in this video is conjecture, speculation, a talk. Until we hear an official announcement, nobody knows anything. I'm sure like the only thing that we have seen in the past was a sign-up page for a beta somebody leaked, but at the end of the day that could have been faked. That's not an official announcement, so we only really can go by what Lockheed Martin have stated, which the only thing they've stated is that any future version of P3D will be backwards compatible with the add-ons that you've got for previous versions of P3D. So the news from them basically, like, yes, they do post regular news on their P3D prepared site, but it nothing to do with like a version 6 or anything. So like that, you can't take that for read. What they have said though, like I said, is that future versions will be compatible. They are working with the Unreal Engine 5 for future versions. So basically, like, that is it. That is everything Lockheed Martin themselves have stated. So that's all there is officially. But what we can do is we can speculate easily. If you head into the Learning Center on the prepared site, it basically shows you, when you look under the What's New section, it shows you every version of prepared, okay? And as you can see, P3D version 1, like I've said in the past, was basically FSX, and then Lockheed Martin bought the API engine, which is basically the core engine, or the ESP API engine, which is the core of the sim of FSX. So strips out everything that Microsoft created specifically for FSX. It gave them the engine, and basically that's why the file structure is the way it is. That's why you have the BGL system. That's all in place from FSX. And then basically over the years, you know, Prepared or Lockheed Martin have enhanced the core capabilities of that sort of ESP. They've updated like land class. They have brought it into a new rendering engine. So in version 2 it was DirectX 11. Okay, they've given, like, updated the mesh improvements. They've updated the back-end coding as well, so there's more flexibility. They've even fixed bugs that were present in FSX. They've streamlined performance, the rendering performance, the way it basically uses your PC as well. They brought it into 64-bit architecture, in line with the systems and the modern sort of software of Windows as well, making it compatible with Windows 10, and just basically refining it over the years. And we're in version 5 currently right now, and this actually supports DirectX 12, which is the latest rendering sort of engine. It also brought in a new sky using Unreal Engine 4 sort of generation of atmospheric and clouds. So and also using NVIDIA's WaveWorks 2.0. So we got a more dynamic ocean. So basically, Lockheed Martin have proven over the years that refinement and more capabilities, more features is what they're interested in doing, because that's all they've ever done since version 1. And I really do believe Lockheed Martin are a case of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There is absolutely no need to completely jump to a new way of doing things, like for an entire simulator, when what they have got already does work. It's more about refinements, making it more compatible with current hardware. Don't forget, version 5 came out before the 30 series cards, the 40 series cards, so it really doesn't take full advantage of those cards because this came out in 2020, you know. If there is a future version, so we're talking about version 6 now, I am sure it will take advantage of the latest hardware because this 30 series and 40 series have been released now. And so it will be more integrated and in line with that because that's what they've done. If we look to the past, we can see the future, okay? Like that's true of anything, okay? In version 5 they basically updated the PBR as well, so I'm very sure the PBR feature of the next version will also have an update. I'm very sure there'll be more rendering engine updates and bug fixes for DirectX 12. I'm very sure there will be other things or other features making P3D the most flexible simulator on the market to date, and that is true of version 5. If you use the Microsoft Sim, you know, Asobo put updates in, they do what they do, and you have to put up with it. You can't choose to ignore it. You know, if Prepared bring out 5.4, or if Lockheed Martin bring out Prepared in 5.4, you have the option to not update. You can stick with 5.3. You can skip 5.4 and go straight to 5.5 if it ever comes out. Like, you have that option as a user. You have so much choice as a user. In fact, Lockheed Martin want users and developers to take the core of the engine, like the camera control system, or sorry, the camera system and the control system, the scenery, the way it's generated, the textures of the sim, and they actually want their users and developers to completely replace these features, these core features of the sim. Like, yes, you can use it at default. It's a quick download. You know, it's only like, what, 50 gig download, and it installs to like 75 gig. But then you can take that sim apart and completely change it. And that is one of the best features of P3D. You can't do that with any other sim. You can't do it with X-Plane 12, and you can't do it with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, actually, X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 12, you can replace, and you can add these add-ons, and you can do that with Microsoft, but actually, there were a lot of limitations when you do it. Like, is it Austin Butler? No, it's not Austin Butler. He was Elvis. Sorry, Austin, I can't remember his last name, sorry Austin, who is basically the owner of Laminar Research, created X-Plane. He has stated that like photoreal has a lot of limitations. Using photoreal, you know, satellite data in your sim, like may look amazing, but it has so many limitations, and they actually prefer to not use that. They prefer to use like sim object placement and textures to create the world, because you can get right down to the ground and still have high detail. You could be up high in the sky and still have high detail, but with photoreal, it's a locked single resolution, and the closer you get to it, the blurry and worse quality it gets. So when you're on the ground, the ground texture can look really bad. Now, like, I agree with that. That is true, but most people will fly airliners, and I know, like, everybody I know who had X-Plane 11 actually used photoreal ortho in their X-Plane and preferred it. And so I was quite shocked when he came out with that news, like, you know, I prefer doing it this way. And so there are limitations in X-Plane 12 for actually doing that. It was a lot harder to import ortho in when X-Plane 12 first came out. I'm sure people have done it now, but it was a lot harder. Now, another thing is, like, I see on this store is, if you go to the Prepared store, you got Prepared version 5, which is the latest version, and if you scroll down, you can actually purchase previous versions, only down to version 3 though. So for anybody who is interested in getting the 32-bit sim of version 3, because maybe one of their add-ons, like the A2A Stratocruiser, only works with version 3. It doesn't work with version 4, and it doesn't work with version 5. I have installed it into version 5, but it doesn't fully work. There is a lot of features of that plane missing. Version 3 was the last version it works with. So if you wanted to get a prepared sim where an older add-on plane, airport, scenery, whatever, still works, I would highly recommend getting it now, because I have a feeling there is only 3 versions on here, and I'm very sure when Lockheed Martin release V6, they will remove the ability to buy V3, because there's only 3 on here now, and when they put a 4th, I'm sure they'll probably only keep 3 on here. Maybe they won't. Maybe this will stay on here, but I have a feeling this is going to go bye-bye when V6 ever comes out. Now, I did say that is the only proof, by the way, like what Lockheed Martin have said. They've never said we're working on a V6. They've never announced it officially. Like, there is no proof, really. But actual fact, there is actual proof. Majestic have launched their software and updated. If you go to their website, go to the support section, you can actually download the new version for version 4 and version 5, and it even states in the documentation that it works with V6. And when you go to their website, if you scroll down, it actually states that as well. Here, supported versions. So finally here, I think we have a little bit of proof, not from Lockheed Martin, but from another source where V6 is existing. Like, this might not be new news to people, but one thing I do want to talk about, right, other than this, is what is the future then for prepared V6 when it, if and when it comes out? Like, what is the expectations of it now that we've heard that they're working with Unreal Engine 5? What is, what will it be? And again, pure speculation. This is pure my educated guess, because nobody, like the public, has not, there's no official announcement. No images have been shared. There has been no, nothing from Lockheed Martin. They've kept very quiet, okay? So if they've said that it's going to be backwards compatible with your old add-ons, and the fact is that they've never steered away from the structure of P3D since version 1, I would guess that the same will apply to version 6, that it won't steer away from the structure of version 5, that the same folder structure, the same BGL system would still be in place. Again, I'm guessing, okay? But they will stick with it. They will improve it for current hardware. They will make more features added that both developers and users can take advantage of. They will refine performance yet again to lower VRAM, so more hardware can share and use that sim. But the most important thing is that flexibility of changing core features will still be there, and you'll still be able to use them. Now, when Microsoft first came out, a lot of developers went, right, that's it, I'm not supporting P3D anymore, because all the user base for flight simulation, rightly so, got so excited for the new Microsoft Flight Sim launch when they announced and showed their trailer, even I did, that they actually uninstalled P3D and went straight over to Microsoft. Like, that was a big move to do. Like, removing a sim that you've supported for perhaps 20 years and just going to an unknown sim that really has only just come out and is still in development, okay? Let's talk about Microsoft now for a moment. Guys, for you Microsoft users, I feel so sorry for you, okay? You guys are using a product that has not been finished yet. Asobo and Microsoft have stated that they're going to give support for 10 years to that sim. In what the actual fact they meant is it they're stating that it's going to take them 10 years to finish the updates. I know for a fact that they have, like, we're on, as of recording this video, we're on update 12, world update 12. Guys, there's like 52 of these updates planned. They are going around the world step by step, improving things, creating buzz to keep a community. They are hoping that in 8 years' time, you guys will still be supporting that sim. But in all honesty, will you? Because I know a lot of users who have come into the flight sim community because of Microsoft, been so frustrated with the update system, being forced to update and then it bugging out or breaking another add-on, or it, performance going, and got so frustrated with it that they've actually come to P3D. They found my channel because I'm, the big supporter for P3D, and actually prefer P3D because of what it can do. Like, it's so flexible. You can change literally the world, and that's exactly what I've done with version 5.3. I've changed the entire world with a ocean pack, a terrain pack, a sky pack, a atmospheric pack, completely redesigning the sim. And that we can do that in version, P3D, because Lockheed Martin allow for that. You can't do that, Microsoft. You cannot completely change. There is so much of the SDK that is either not there or locked off from developers. They haven't got a proper third-party weather engine. Somebody had to hack in and just give you shader changes, really. But it's like Active Sky have said that they can't do what they want to do, or Hi-Fi Simulation, sorry. They can't do what they want to do because the sim doesn't allow for it. And Hi-Fi Simulation still create Active Sky for P3D, and I'm sure it will be the case in the future. Like Orbex, I'm sure will create products or make their old products compatible with future versions. I'm sure there are plain developers like PMDG, A2A, Majestic, who are still with the P3D train. They haven't jumped ship. Although PMDG has released products, they have stated that they will still support P3D. Like, there is quite a few developers, and because of the major scenery developers like Aerosoft, UK 2000, to name just a few, they've all jumped ship and said, we're stopping support for P3D and development. We are now with Microsoft only. Like, for one, if they ever decide to come back to P3D, I seriously doubt a community will be welcoming them. As good of a developer as they are, they're really showing what they're made of by abandoning a community in favor of another, right? Like, that shows you really what their, focus is. But really, secondly, like, they had all these add-ons. They had all these airports or sceneries or planes, and they work fine. There's no problem. They could have supported. They could have still kept support going. They decided not to. Like, Microsoft Sim may not be around, guys, in 10 years' time. Like, the support will be for another 8. But as soon as the community begins to build up in P3D, I bet you any money, developers will also then follow that train across back to P3D. And like, this video, guys, is more about expectations than anything else. Like, when and if the next version comes out, don't expect, guys, to be like anything perhaps near what Microsoft is, because that's not the way the sim even wants to be. Microsoft is run off a server, which means you have to have the internet working in order to fly. Lockheed Martin have made it to where you don't even need an internet and you can still fly. If you want live weather, yes, you need the internet, but Hi-Fi Simulations is actually working on an offline live weather system. I'm going to call it Active Sky Pro. So in the future, you can have live weather in your sim and not be connected to the internet. How crazy is that? Like, that's how flexible P3D is. So if you're watching this and you're with Microsoft, and I'm not trying to steer anybody in a single direction, I'm just sharing information at the end of the day, information that's already out there, collecting it from various sources and giving my honest opinion, which is, I do believe that the same structure in the future will be there from the past, because that's the way it's always been. Don't break it if it ain't. Don't try and fix it if it ain't broke, So therefore, if Lockheed Martin have stated future versions will be backwards compatible, it must mean that the structure of the way P3D is now will still be there in the future. BGL files. Maybe it's the way they're shown or the way they're rendered or whatever under the hood is going on is changing, who knows. But if you can still use your old add-ons, guys, then they're not completely changing the entire sim to like Unreal Engine 5. It might be just a portion of it. Who knows? Nobody knows. Guys, at the end of the day, like, we can speculate all we want. We can say this, we can say that. But until Lockheed Martin say it, then nothing is for red. Nothing is for certain, And they don't announce stuff. They just release it. So it could get released tomorrow as of recording this video, or as of releasing this video, or it could come out next week, next month, next year. Who knows? Only Lockheed Martin do. So expectations, I would say, is what you really need to maintain, is your expectations. Because if you're thinking it's going to be better than Microsoft, guys, P3D, in my opinion, already is. Because you can actually get it looking like Microsoft just because of how flexible the sim is. I see so many streamers, big name streamers, who use P3D and still use it like FSX and then laugh at the graphics. And I'm like, well, guys, you're still using it from a sim from 2008. Like, use it the way it wants to be used with the modern engines that they've put in, and it will look better. Like, if that's what your kink is, if visuals only is your kink, then maybe Microsoft is your sim, because that simulator really is only for visuals. Like, it can't have a study level aircraft in it. Like, the PMDG 737 in P3D is Boeing certified. The actual company Boeing has certified that. In Microsoft, it ain't. And it's the same plane. Why is that? Because there's actually more features or more versatility in P3D than there is in Microsoft. And guys, the more streamers I see of Microsoft, I look at their sim and I just see it looking more like P3D as the months go by. I thought it was supposed to be this brilliantly photoreal looking sim, but it's looking more like P3D, guys, because I see blurrier landscape textures, or people having to run their settings down because it doesn't perform as well on their system since an update. Like, Lockheed Martin, if you look back at the Learning Center and you look back at how many versions over the years, in version 1 you only had 4 different builds for version 1. There was 5 for version 2, 4 for version 3, 5 for version 4, and 3 for version 5. Actually, that's a trend. I can see a pattern in there. Like, which basically means they only really update their sim maybe once a year or once every 2 years, which means you guys have got stability to have, within the sim. But your sim, guys, in Microsoft is getting updated twice a month. And effectively, with every new single update, you're testing a new build on your PC, because it's changing either a lot or nothing, And so you're basically testers. Everybody uses Microsoft until it's finished. And at the end of the day, what software these days is truly finished? None. And updates are a part of Flight Sim's life now. Okay, so when people moan about an update, get used to it. That's the way it is. But you guys are having 2 new builds of your simulator every single month, which will change something to make something not work, or the performance will drop, and you guys have to then change your settings to adjust for that. That's your life, guys. That's the way it is. P3D only gets updated once in a blue moon, so you can enjoy your sim for longer, right? It's not a competition at the end of the day. You prefer what you prefer. I'm just sort of giving you my opinion and, telling you like the news, as it were, right? Anyway, I think I've gassed on for so long. Like, the final thing I'm going to say is that if ever developers decide to come back to P3D after publicly abandoning it, I have a feeling the community of P3D that is there won't be as welcoming to them because of their announcements publicly. UK 2000 actually announced that we're dropping development, we're not supporting P3D, and actually they've even stated they're not even supporting their own customers because they're shutting their own website servers down. So you got to get your stuff from your accounts, guys. You know what I mean? Like, Aerosoft have said no more development on P3D, no more support. You're on your own. If you purchase our stuff, we're with Microsoft. Like, that's pretty shitty, I feel, in my opinion. Like, PMDG have never done that. Even though they are working and focusing on Microsoft right now, they are still supporting P3D. They are still having development, I'm sure, on P3D products. Who knows? I am sure they will update their planes if a new version was to come out. Like I'm sure Orbex will update their products to adhere to a new version. And I'm sure other manufacturers of flight sim software will also do the same. So, like, more and more people, like my YouTube channel, as you can see, is designed for P3D, right? And I have so many people popping into my Discord. There's literally about 15 people I know who have come from the Microsoft Sim saying, I actually prefer P3D, but can you help me work it out? Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? And it's like, that is a growing trend these days, you know? So I have a feeling more and more people will be doing this. But when and if a new version does come out, just manage your expectations, because what they've already stated means that the entire sim is not going to be a new complete engine, but it will be the same of what has come from the past. So manage your expectations, guys, and enjoy the stability and flexibility of what's to come. That's all I gotta say. Thank you so much for watching this. Don't forget, I give away €50 every single month on my channel. So subscribe to my channel to be in with a chance to win. That's one requirement. Put a comment down in any of my P3D videos. That's the second requirement. And then at the end of the month, the last 3 days, I pick a winner and you will get €50 to spend on Sim Market for any flight sim of your choice. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.